wanted to pursue it. And this was a Monday evening at 6:30. It was just burning me up that we weren't, pursuing this. And I emailed them and my boss. And so my prosecutor calls me and says, "Have you been drinking?" I was like, "No, I'm not. Haven't been drinking." I was like, "I'm drunk on justice and morality.
Yeah.
Right is right and wrong is wrong, and this is wrong." And they're like, "Well, what if there's other things that impact it?" I was like, "No, it's right or wrong. Did they do it or not do it?" And then about an hour later, my boss calls me and goes, "Are you drunk?" Like, "No, I'm not drunk. I'm telling you, like, that's what happens when somebody speaks the truth.
Yeah.
You assume that they're like, this guy's telling too much truth. He must be drinking."
Yeah.
Like, no, it's right and wrong, So I hate the gray, and I can't operate in it.
Yeah. It's funny. My dad used to say this joke. He'd say, where all liars go? They go to hell or to law school.
There you go.
He used to say that.
Yeah, I was talking with one, and letting them know that, hey, I went to law school for a semester, and then I quit, and I was like, "Oh, well, it gets easier after that." And I got done. I told the other one, I was like, "He assumes I wanted to be a lawyer." Like at a point in time, I just realized I didn't want to hang out with y'all.
Yeah.
And so went to law school, quit that, and then I applied to the Air Force. And while that was, getting run through, the litany of tests and getting poked and prodded and, all types of coordination tests and everything. I was working odd jobs. It was like, seriously, like I was, the top graduate at my college. And now, like, I just don't have people beating my door down, offering me, great jobs.
Yeah. And that's what you would think.
Yeah. So but it fueled me. I mean, I made a list when I went to officer school, knowing that, hey, whenever they get up in my grill and yell and tell me I'm ugly and I can't read good and my mom is fat, or whatever they're going to tell me, like, this is the list of reasons why I can't go back. This is do or die,
Right.
I have that
those,
list.
Those kind of things, like, really help, like, writing something down and explaining to yourself in that letter, like, why you should be doing what you're doing and how nothing's going to stop you.
Yeah, I do it. And I still do it. I have, a binder that I carry for interviews and has a day planner in it. I'm old school. I don't keep it on my phone. That's why when you email me a calendar invite, okay, I'll write it down in pencil on my paper planner. But in the back of it, I write down, because these things will go through my mind while I'm running, and the things that fuel me. And eventually I just have to write them down to release them and quit chewing on them, and then one day, I'll use this in a speech. One day I'll use this and I'll tell the story about how you doubted me or you said this thing about me, and I've proven it completely false.
Yeah. So, I can't even imagine how many notebooks you have.
Yeah.
Written down
No
in.
joke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you just put them in a file or what?
Yeah, I do. Yeah. I have them up above my desk and everything. And I can go back and remember when I was working on a particular project. And some
really
of the difficulties that went through. I had a boss working on one time and working on something. And he said that, he told his boss that, he said, he's like a Prussian attack dog. He's like, the problem is, he's like, I can know how to tell him to attack. He said, but the command to tell him to let go and come back is
not there.
Weird language
Right.
nobody knows. And I was like, well, you shouldn't even want to know that command. Do not send me on something
finish
unless
the
you
job.
Completely destroyed.
Yeah.
Like, don't send me into something and you want me to half-ass attack it. Like, if I go after it, it's getting done.
Yeah.
So you shouldn't even want to know that before you send me to attack. So
Dude, I feel the same way with things that I do. It's like I can't leave it, even if the allotted time to get something done is over. I'm like, well, if the project's not done, I don't stop. You know what I mean? I'm like, I have to finish this because it's like I'm not resolved. I can't let it go until it's like done, right?
Yeah. Same thing with my daughters and work around here is, it's not how much do I have to do, it's how much can I do.
Right.
It's not just, like I said, half-assing the project. It's, let's get it done and how well can I do that project.
Well, having that kind of attitude helps you prioritize things, I think, because you won't start something unless you finish it. So you kind of have to put what's more important in front of the next thing.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
You're not
that
gonna...
and the one thing I've heard, and it's so true, and I say it nonstop with both work and work on the ranch, is that resistance points to true north. Mm-hmm. And so I say that, and in fitness as well, that one mm-hmm. thing that I don't want to do is probably the thing I should do. Like I put off spraying the fence lines around here for a month, and then I was like, I don't want to do that. I've taken care of everything on my list. Is there something else I could do? Like, no, you've got to do that. You do not want to do it. That's what you need to be doing.
Yep.
So,
yeah.
That's why I love being a coach, because I can get other people to do that. Right. They walk in, they see the workout on the board, and they look at it and they're like, oh, these are like my least favorite exercises. But by the end of it, they love it. Like yesterday, we did dumbbell thrusters and burpee box jumps. Just those two, 53 reps of each. And it sucks. And most everybody's like, they look at the board and they're like, dude, I think I'm sick. I feel sick. Yeah. I got a cough. I got to go. You know what I mean? But then afterwards, they're like, oh, I'm so glad I did it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So now that we're kind of talking about workouts, that you can tell Dakota Meyer that Pepper and I, she turned 16. So I told her during that 100-mile walk that, she was wanting about the dash and living for your dash and everything. And that was before I had heard it from Dakota and all. But that something came up. She said that, could we get that tattooed? And I was like, yeah, someday and everything. So she kept on. She's 16. So I'm such a great father, and got tattooed my 16-year-old daughter. So what does that say about my parenting? So anyway.
So she got on the dash or what?
No, we have our birthday and then we have the dash.
The dash,
that's perfect.
On our rib cage.
Yeah.
In the same location. But I watched some of Dakota's workout videos. So I'm going to challenge him on my my Crazy Sisters program, which a slight takeoff. It's a modification of Farm Fit.
Yeah.
So it's based on rural agricultural practices. So today I did a 4-mile run, which is just basic. And then I did about 50 yards of straw rakes, which is really good for your right shoulder and lat.
Sure.
Raking up straw. And then, let's see, I went into a 1/4-mile weed eats, not to be confused with 1/4-mile repeats, but I just weed eated a 1/4 mile of bench row. So that's real good for your right arm only and your lower back. So I swear they're keeping this place up. So like a workout.
Dude, it totally is.
How many acres do you have?
15.
15.
And I've about got it looking like a golf course. So I've told my wife, I was like, I looked at some more land, and she goes, no. We have 15. I keep you confined. You get more. We got to have more cows. We got to have a bigger tractor, everything. She goes, I like to keep you on 15.
Yeah, that's awesome. Dude, it's interesting with the workouts because I tell people that all the things that we do in the gym you can transfer to daily life, right?
Yeah.
It's functional. It's movement efficiency, all that kind of stuff. And I just started a tactical group, some guys that do tactical training and all that kind of stuff. And I have some officers and all that kind of stuff that come and work out there too. And sometimes we change it up, but it's sometimes hard to see the transfer, right?
Yeah.
So if somebody's doing a specific exercise, obviously like, you know exactly what muscles you're working when you're raking, but they might not recognize that when they have a sled and they're pulling a rope, right? They're pulling the sled to them, which works the same movement pattern and muscles involved, right?
Yeah.
So sometimes they might not see the actual transfer, but so I have to explain why it's so important to train these movement patterns so that you're better at it.
Helps them focus on the muscles involved,
Yeah, exactly.
That, and then just the mental toughness, because I say that all the time about running. you know, that my running is running, but then also like I've done room entries to where you don't know if you're going to gas out and, you know, and the guy's going to get the better of you. So the endurance that comes with that, and the confidence in your endurance with it, like this guy, unless he's an MMA practitioner, is not going to have my cardio. If I can withstand the onslaught, you know, he's going to gas, and then my technique will come into play. Yeah. So that confidence as well from the training.
Yeah. Oh yeah. For sure. And I compared you to Nate Diaz on social media, and because Nate Diaz, I don't know if you've watched any of his fights, but Nate Diaz always gets cut open and bleeding, but he always has a little bit left in the tank. Yeah.
Yep. And I've said that with running different times, you know, that, so Paisley and I, we won a 10K about 2 months ago. We were sitting at the dinner table on Friday night eating pizza, and she goes, I want to run a race. And I was like, well, I know they have one in the morning. I was like, you want to race in the morning? She's like, yeah. And so I got to figuring out where it was and what time and all. And so they had a 5K and a 10K. And so we show up, and I'm like, well, which one, you know, would be more impressive? Well, we'll run the 10K. Awesome. So we run the 10K, and then about, you know, halfway through it, we take the lead, and we wound up winning the whole thing. And so the guy that, you know, organizes that end of it, the pushing, he goes, I knew you were not just going to run it. I was like, well, I can't. I was like, I'm like a racehorse. You know, I get to go, and I can't just show up just to do it.
Yeah,
you're
going to do everything to win.
Out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now I can barely walk, but we won the race.
Yeah,
that's awesome. No pre-registration or anything, just like show up and win.
No, I never pre-register. I don't know what's going to happen the day before, the day of.
Yeah, so, exactly.
I show up the day of.
Maybe we should check that.
Oh yeah. So Heath,
we're just gonna pause for a second.
Yeah, we're gonna pause it.
We had like
Hey,
right. What's up? It sounded really good. Yeah. So I think
I'm sure you're talking about sound quality, not the content.
Well, both.
Content's great too.
Yeah.
We were talking about just finishing up with that race and everything, and how you are a little bit sore and how you push, even if it's you know, you didn't pre-register, you still push. You're just like, you know what, I'm gonna do the best I can. We're not just gonna jog this thing. We're gonna win it. So that is an awesome attitude, and I love that. So what made you decide? What made you really decide to go into the military? I know you didn't want, you know, to continue on with law school and all that kind of stuff, but why military? What was the biggest reason?
I wrote this. I had to write an essay for officer school, and I wrote something along these lines was the thesis, and I can't remember it exactly, but I still feel this today, that throughout the time period of history, there's been something for people of, you know, a high, you know, courage, morals, and, you know, athletic ability and adventure to do, whether that was, you know, coming over and as, you know, exploring the new world and, you know, being a, you know, settler over here, or going to the West, you know, no matter, you know, what it was, that in this time period, it's difficult to find something.
It doesn't really exist.
And that for me, piloting in the military was the closest thing I could probably get to that. It required not only some level of intellect, but then also a level of courage and physicality to it. So to find a job that combines all those, it's pretty much law enforcement or military.
Yeah.
Right. It's hard to find that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. You were an officer, right?
Yes.
Okay. And my question is, do you have to be an officer to actually fly?
Yes.
Okay.
In the well, at least in the Air Force and in most of the other services, particularly in jets.
Okay.
Some in the Army and some of the other ones, some of the helicopters are warrant officers. I believe, and I'm speaking out of school on this, but but yeah.